This morning, President Trump is calling on Republicans to change the rules in the Senate to reopen the government. Trump posting overnight, it is now time for the Republicans to play their Trump card and go for what is called the nuclear option. Get rid of the filibuster and get rid of it now. The move would allow Republicans to pass a bill to fund the government with a simple majority instead of the 60 votes currently needed. But Senate Majority Leader John Thune has warned against this move, saying it could come back to bite Republicans whenever Democrats take power back. Meanwhile, millions of Americans fear their food assistance or SNAP benefits will run out tomorrow as the government shutdown drags on.
Real quick, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. This is I haven't given my thoughts on this, so I thought I'd make a reaction video real quick. But the whole government shutdown thing is just a it's this is a failure on so many fronts. I think all of our leaders have failed us, and they're not taking a position of actually leading. It baffles me why, and I think it's a law or something like that, to where government officials still can get paid. We have all these people who are unemployed right now, or who are working and aren't receiving paychecks, and I don't know if their health insurance and all. I'm sure it has to be affected some way or another. And some of them have kids, pre-existing conditions, you name it. It's not like your banks are understanding, your credit card companies are not understanding, car companies are not understanding. Everybody wants their money when they want it. And the fact that you have politicians that can't seem to get their act together and get this thing opened up and get people paid and get things moving is beyond. And here's the other thing too. It's not like we didn't know this day was coming. And you would have thought that there would have been some way to kind of work this out ahead of time or try to negotiate or something. Um, uh, they just ought to be ashamed. I mean, we need to send everyone's mom to their to the Washington and get these guys in the shape, because this is ridiculous. Whatever happened to like negotiating and being smooth about it and say, you got something I need, we could, how can we benefit each other? And obviously, I don't know what's going on. I'm just a guy on YouTube, but to see all the people, my neighbors, and all that stuff get affected by this is just grotesque. And our politicians have totally lost the point. And the last thing I wanted to do is come in here and like rag on like how this sucks and how everyone lost the point. But it's just like, just a slap in the face. I mean, God, like there's not already enough going on. And I a couple months ago, maybe 3, 4 months ago now, my daughter had a health scare. And, luckily we were able to take her into the children's hospital here in Atlanta. And, you know, luckily we had health insurance and all those things, and it was able to be taken care of. It was still expensive, don't get me wrong. We didn't walk away unscathed, but you'd pay any money for your kids to be, well taken care of. My point in saying all that is, when we went in that hospital with the children there were some families that were crying and stuff like that that were not coming out, that were having to stay, or they did come out, but they had some illness that couldn't be treated right then and there, or they have to be on the medication permanently. And those medications, life saving medications, are very expensive. Most of us don't see that because your insurance kind of plays the middleman, and the hospital negotiates back and forth. But if you've ever in your life not had insurance coverage and you went to the hospital or whatever, even to the dentist, and you saw what the actual itemized sheet is, what they charge you for even an aspirin and all this stuff at the hospital, is it's you want to get a sticker shock. Look at that invoice. I mean, it'll wake you up. I say all that to say I cannot imagine some of the men and women, excuse me, I don't mean to do that, battling a sickness. The men and women who out there who are suffering right now and having to stomach these costs, who knows, probably dipping into their savings, probably exhausted that. If you especially consider most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, or most Americans that can't even save $1,000, and you need those medications. We ought to be Washington. Trash, complete trash. You are gambling with people's lives and their livelihood, and and I heard something like, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys out there, but like the TSA workers and things like that, you still have to come to work. I think it's a contract or something like that. It's against the law. I don't know the ins and outs, so forgive me for that. But that's what I heard. If that is the case, that is even a more slap in the face and humiliating. Like, how do you expect these people to put gas in their car? Anyway, I, this is why another reason ties back to, and the purpose of my channel, why investing matters. And I know just like the rest of all of us would be able to be in a position to where you got your investments working for you. And, the day something like this happens, you're like, you know what? I'm done. I've read so many books about investors investing in real estate and things like that. And they were at work and the boss said, I need you to do this. And they're like, hi, we spoke about that. Don't want to do it. And he said, okay. And I said, you know what? I'm not doing it, and walked off. Having that type of freedom and confidence, that's the whole reason for investing. Obviously, more, right? Take care of our families so we're not living hand to mouth, and we're not giving them permission to starve us out because they can't agree on anything except, like, let's go blow places off this planet. We can all agree on that. Anytime it's time to blow something up, they agree on that. Or anytime it's time to line their pockets, we can somehow agree on that. Unbelievable to me. They ought to be. I don't know how they sleep at night. I truly don't, because anytime it's something that's going to benefit them, and by them I mean the Congress, they figure out a way to be master negotiators. They find a way to get it done. Then when it's going to line their pockets, disgusting. They've lost the plot completely. Let me get through this video without getting hot.
I've gone to social media to ask for help from everyone that I could possibly think of.
It now appears a federal judge hearing a lawsuit over emergency funding may step in. Judge Indira Talwani saying right now Congress has put money in an emergency fund for an emergency, and it's hard for me to understand how this isn't an emergency. Republicans argue it's not that easy.
If they transfer funds from these other sources, it pulls it away immediately from school meals and infant formula.
The judge dismissing the administration's explanation, saying, I want agency action, not lawyering. We're not going to make everyone drop dead. The judge could compel the administration to release the funds, but whether the Trump administration will comply remains to be seen. And even if it does, the emergency funding available would still fall short of the monthly SNAP payouts. Back on Capitol Hill, Democrats digging in, refusing to open the government until Republicans agreed to extend Obamacare subsidies to prevent health care insurance premiums from skyrocketing next year. A Utah woman we spoke to says even with the subsidies, her premium next year will rise from $495 to $753. And without the subsidies, it will more than quadruple to more than $2,100.
We can't afford to double what it costs for us to live just to have health insurance.
Republicans argue the Affordable Care Act, which set up Obamacare, was a bad law that drives up premiums and strains doctors. President Trump last night posting, quote, Obamacare is a disaster. Rates are going through the roof for really bad health care. Do something, Democrats. Stacey Cox says right now a flawed plan is better than no plan. Meanwhile, as more government workers go without paychecks, more of them are turning to food banks.
Honestly, this has been devastating.
Wayne Barber says he's been an air traffic controller for 23 years.
I'm still going to show up to work because that's what I swore an oath to do.
But many air traffic controllers no longer getting paid are calling out sick, causing staff shortages and delays at major airports. At Orlando's airport yesterday, a warning that at one point there would be no certified air traffic controllers to land planes, forcing a ground delay.
A shortage of air traffic controllers was already a big problem before the government shutdown. Now authorities warn if the shutdown drags on, especially through the Thanksgiving travel period, it'll be a disaster.
Well, there you go. I think they're going to find a way to AI everything to where they could do this. But this is gross. I don't know what else to say, but it's just gross and disheartening. I mean, I feel bad for these people and all of us having to stomach this crap. Happy Monday. I hate to be negative, but please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I promise you, uh, we'll just monitor the situation. Look out for your family, look out for your neighbors as much as you can. And this is why investing is so important. So we don't rely on them to feed us, because if you rely on them to feed you, they can starve you. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye.